Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to show you how to make this stunning little hair bow, and this is a 2-colour hair bow and it only uses 5 small pieces of ribbon. Only 4 small pieces if you don't want to include the base bow, because that is optional. And the finished bow, so just the main part of the bow, is around 3.5 inches wide or 9 centimetres wide, or if you include the base bow as well, it measures just under 5 inches or around 12 centimetres across. And everything that I've used to make this hair bow, all of the products are linked in the description below, so you can check those out. To get to the description, you just press on the title of the video and that will bring up the description. And if you would like to see more of these tutorials, do subscribe to my channel, and if you press the bell button, that will turn on notifications. So I've got all my bits here to make my bow. I've got my Fiskars fabric scissors, a tape measure, a couple of clips to hold the ribbon in place as I'm making my bow, and also a hair clip which I will be lining with some matching 1 centimetre ribbon when we get to it. I've also got out some potential little decorations to add to the bow at the end, and I've got my hot glue gun already heating up. So you will need 5 pieces of ribbon, 1 piece for the base bow and 4 pieces for the main part of the bow. The base bow ribbon is 1.5 inch wide or 4 centimetres wide, and this is cut to 32 centimetres in length or around 12.5 inches in length. And then all 4 pieces for the main part of the bow are again 1.5 inch wide or 4 centimetres wide, and all 4 pieces are cut to 16 centimetres in length or 6.25 inches in length. And I have got 2 in pink and 2 in grey. It is up to you if you want to use different colours. This is just my example. I'm going to start by setting the clip aside and the piece for the base bow, and we're going to work on the main part of the bow to begin with. First of all, taking a lighter, you will need to heat seal all of the ends of your ribbon, and this is just to prevent any fraying and will get rid of any existing frays. So all of the ends are now heat sealed. I'm going to set 2 aside and take the first 2 for the first half of the bow. Taking the pink piece first, I'm going to fold it in half to find the centre, and then I'm going to hold it sideways facing towards me, and then what you want to do is bring the 2 sides out. So you've got this point at the top, and you want to line the raw edges all together at the bottom. So this is the back and this is the front, making sure they touch in the middle and they are even and straight. And then once you're happy with that, I'm just going to take a clip and pop it on the top, and that will hold that in place. And next I'm going to take this right side and I'm going to fold it in half like that, and I'm just going to take another clip to hold that in place. And then I'm going to do the same on this left side. So taking this left side, I'm going to fold it in half toward the centre. And then next we're going to fold this top piece down. So I'm going to turn it over just to make it easy, as you can see. I'm going to grab this top piece here and fold it down so that the point here meets up with the bottom, making sure the middles are all together. And then again I'm going to pop a clip on there to hold it in place. So this will now be the actual front. I can remove this clip now, and this is going to be the back. So as you can see, it makes like this lovely little heart shape. And next, taking our grey piece, we're going to fold it in half again to find the centre. And this time again I'm going to use my lighter just to run along that crease, and that will just get a deeper crease in there so I can see where the centre is. And then when I open it up, you can see where the centre is now, and then we can use this as a guide to line this piece up. So I'm going to line this piece up now in the centre. So we know where the centre of this piece is because it's where the two pieces of ribbon join. So I'm lining that up with the crease that I've just made. I'm just going to remove this clip so the crease is in line. And all of the bottom edges are also in line. So this is what we've got now, like that. And then next I'm going to take this piece sticking out from the side. I'm going to hold this right side and I'm going to bring it round toward the front. I'll just show you that again. So holding on to this right side, I'm just twisting it round and bringing it over to the front. And again, I'm going to line this edge up with the centre and also the raw edge, lining it up along the bottom. I'm just going to keep it pinched together with my thumb and finger whilst I remove the clip and re-clip it over the top. So it looks like that. And we're going to do the same now with this left side. So holding on to this left end, bringing it round, twisting it toward the front, lining it up in the middle and also along the bottom. And then again, keeping it all held together with my thumb and fingers, I'm going to re-clip it all in place. So this is what we've got now. And now we're going to do the same with the other two pieces. Now, as you can see, this side is slightly higher, just by 1 millimetre than this side, and that is easily fixed by just rolling these pieces up and down. So make sure that they are the same height coming out from that middle, like that. So we've now got these two pieces exactly the same, and next we are going to stitch in our pinch along the bottom. So I've already sewn half of my bow just to save some time, and you do both sides exactly the same, so I will show you how to do this now. So I've got my needle here threaded with some extra strong thread, and I've popped a knot in the end. We're going to do 8 stitches along this raw edge, so 4 in each side. So if I just show you with a pen here, we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So our stitches are going to go along there like that, 4 on each side. So going in for our first stitch through the top, catching that corner all the way through to the knot, coming up through the bottom and catching those bottom layers as well for our second stitch. Our third stitch going in through the top again, making sure you catch those pink layers underneath or whatever colour you're using. That's our third stitch. And then I'm just going to move this clip across so I can see. We're going to come back up through the bottom now for our fourth stitch, and this time you want to catch the grey layer, the 2 pink and half of this point, as well as the grey at the top. So coming in through the bottom, catching the pink layers, half of that pink point, and coming up through the front. So that's our 4th stitch. I'm just going to remove this clip now. I'm just going to bring this up because I slipped a little bit, making sure it's all in line. And our 5th stitch is going to go in through the top, again catching this grey layer, the other half of this pink point, the 2 pink layers and the grey. So in through the top, catching all of those layers, and that's our 5th stitch. Our 6th one, again coming back up from the bottom to the top, catching all of the layers. Our 7th stitch going in through the top and catching this bottom corner, and then our final stitch coming up through the bottom on that last corner. So this is what it looks like at the front, and this is the back, and then you're ready to pull in that pinch. So giving that thread a pull to cinch up the ends of that fabric. And then keeping it pinched tightly, just catch the last layers just to seal it off, and then go through again, and this time before you pull it tight, just go through the loose loop a few times, and that will just form a knot to hold that thread in place, and then you can trim off the excess. And that is the other half of the bow now ready. So now we're ready to join our 2 halves together. So taking my hot glue gun, I'm going to place some hot glue along the middle of 1 half, and then I'm going to join my 2 halves together. And then we're going to make our base bow. So taking our longer piece of ribbon that I set aside earlier, this piece is 32 centimetres in length by 4.5 centimetres wide. We're going to make like a single pinwheel hair bow, but we're going to do it slightly different. So again, we need to heat seal our raw edges. So taking a lighter, I'm just going to heat seal the edges just to prevent any fraying whilst I'm working with my ribbon. Now with a pinwheel, I normally fold the 2 sides in to make like this sort of Z shape and then pinch down the middle. But this type of pinwheel will come out wider. I want to do this more narrow for this bow. So what I'm going to do is have one piece coming folded over toward the front, and I'm going to fold the other piece over to the back. So we've still got a Z shape, but we've just folded this piece over to the back instead of the front. So it looks like this. I'll just show you it again. So you've got your piece of ribbon, you want to bring one piece around 1/3 of the way over to the front, and then the other piece toward the back. And we are going to aim for this to be about as tall as our bow. So I'm just doing it by eye to begin with. You also want this piece to be as wide as the bow. So I'm going to use my bow as a guide. So as you can see, it's slightly wider, so I'm going to pull on the tails so that these loop parts are roughly as wide as the bow. And I'm also making sure that the height of it is also as tall as my bow. So it's like that. So I'm happy with that now. So I'm going to just set that aside again. And then I'm going to pop a couple of clips on here. to hold it in place. So this is what we've got, and now I'm going to fold it in half, and this is to find the centre so we can sew in our pinch. Again, I'm going to use some heat from my lighter to get a deeper crease in there to use as my guide. And then taking my needle and thread again, I've popped another knot in the end, and I'm going to do 6 stitches across this middle. So I'm going to go in through the top for my first stitch, and then back up through the bottom for my second, and then 4 more stitches in this part. So back through the top for my third stitch, 4th, 5th, and I'm still using this crease as a guide to keep my stitching central, and then my 6th one coming up through that last edge. So it looks like this from the front. I can remove my clips now, and this is what it looks like at the back. I've got a bit of stringy glue on there, let me just remove that. So that's the back, and then I'm going to pull in my pinch. And then just wrap that around a couple of times. Pull it tight, and then I'm just going to go through this underside, catching a little bit of the ribbon on the underside, and then go through again, but on the second time I'm going to seal it off by going through this loose loop a couple of times to form a knot, and then I can trim off that excess thread. And there's the pinwheel type of bow. Now we're ready to add our bow to the base bow. So I'm going to take my hot glue again and pop some hot glue in the middle of that base bow, and then line up my bow on the top. So this is what we've got now. I am going to trim these tails at the end just to give them a nice finish. And I've got this 1 centimetre wide ribbon in baby pink to match my bow, and this is cut to 11 centimetres in length, and this is just the right length to wrap my 45mm hair clip. And I'm just going to heat seal the ends, and I'm going to wrap my clip. This is just something that I like to do. This is optional, you don't have to line your clip. You could also add your bow to a headband or an elastic, it is completely up to you. You would just add it in the same way as you do the clip, by adding it to the bottom of the bow and then wrapping the centre around. So that is my lined clip ready to add to the bottom of the bow. So I'm just going to place some glue on the clip and then add it to the underside of my bow. And then taking some more pink, I'm just going to heat seal one end, keeping it attached to the ribbon. I'm going to use this to wrap around the centre of the bow. So placing a bit of glue on that end, popping it under the clip, central to the hair bow, and then start wrapping it around the centre. On the first go round, I like to add a little bit of hot glue just across the join, and that just makes sure that this centre strip keeps that join covered. And then I'm going to go around again for the second time. And then trim off where I need it, just enough to wrap around the underside of the clip. Again, heat seal the raw edge, and then finish off by wrapping it under the clip. And now we can trim our tails. So I like my tails to go round and curved, so I'm going to cut this diagonal You can decide how long you want it. So I want it to stick out around sort of 1 centimetre from the top and then curve it round to a point. So I am going to cut off about 1/2 centimetre, I think, so it's quite long. And then I'm going to curve round as I cut, like that, and then heat seal that raw edge. And I'm going to do the same with the other side. I'm going to flip it upside down and then cutting off around 1/2 centimetre, curving the scissors round as I cut, making sure I leave the same distance on either side, and then heat seal that raw edge. So this is the main part of the bow now finished, and now I'm going to just embellish the centre. I'm going to cut these stems right down. So I've cut the stems off the roses. I'm going to add my bunny embellishment first, so I'm going to pop a little bit of gemstone glue on either side. So I'm going to pop a little bit on the ear, a little bit on the bottom and a little bit on this side. And this gemstone glue, you can add basically gems to fabric and it is then washable. That holds really well. It takes 15 hours to set, so I'm using this as an extra staying power. And then I'm popping some hot glue in the middle, so the hot glue will now set immediately whilst the other glue sets. So I'm just placing that carefully in the middle. So that will now stay on there enough whilst the gemstone glue sets. And then to add these, I'm just going to use hot glue. And there is your finished hair bow. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial today. If you did, please hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and if you press the bell button, that will turn on notifications. Thanks for watching. Bye.